Oh my, Wendy's, I am so very, very disappointed in you. Oh well, another one bites the dust. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog number 349 for February the 12th, 2024. Hope everybody had a good weekend, and those of you that were enjoying, I guess I'll call it, the Super Bowl, which at the point of when I'm recording this, I have no idea who won, and guess what? I don't really care. But what color was the outfit that Taylor Swift was wearing, and did you win any money from that? Apparently there were bets on that kind of thing going on. But anyways, if it doesn't solve world hunger, has a cure for cancer, I'm really not interested. So moving right along and show you what I am interested in. Well, my latest project is this one. It's in pieces at the moment. And later today, I'm hoping to get to it and get it sewn together. But this is a table runner. It's from Designs by Juju, and it's called Northwoods Table Runner. And it's got a very Canadian feel to it. And that's one reason why I chose to do it. The other reason was it was on sale. And you know I love a good sale on embroidery designs. And I really enjoy doing in the hoop creations as well. Now, my plan is, if this turns out okay, then I'm going to take it to Australia with me, and it's going to be a gift for my nephew and his partner. A little piece of home, I guess, for them in the land of Oz. So yeah, it's coming along quite nicely. I did have a little goof up. You see the bears, the moose, and the owl. They're in a couple of pieces, and they're supposed to be in a couple of pieces. But when I read the pattern or the file, they said that they had combined those two pieces that make up each one of those animals together as one file. And I thought, okay, I will use it. What I didn't realize was when they combined them, they made them a little smaller than the size that I'm creating. Usually with a file, an embroidery file for something like a table runner or some other in the hoop project, they will give you a variety of sizes. And I wanted to do the biggest one, of course. And so I thought, oh, great. They've, combined 6 pieces into 3 files, which means that I have less seams to sew. Well, that didn't work out. So yeah, so I had to redo those. But anyways, I now have 3 pieces, one with the bears, one with the moose, one with the owl, that are one piece, and might make nice little placemats, or not placemats, but nice little mug rugs or something like that. So, never anything goes to waste. At the least, they may end up with as an orphan block. And when I get around to making another orphan block quilt, they may go into it. I don't know. We'll see how that all works out. As I say that, I've already got some ideas in my head. I always do. I always do. In fact, I have so many ideas that sometimes I get a headache. Yeah, my mind never stops. It just keeps going and going and going. And that's a good thing. I'm not complaining. That is a good thing. If you stop thinking, you might as well die because you're just going to rot. All right, don't know how I got onto that. Let's have some coffee. And let's talk about the video clip of the week. And I love my gadgets. In fact, later on in today's episode, I'm going to talk about a couple of new gadgets that I just purchased. But in the meantime, the other thing that's really got us all uptight, especially here in North America, is the increase in home invasions, car thefts, scammers at the door, all that kind of thing. And so I found a video clip on YouTube that talks about 12 home security inventions. Now, some of these are over the top, and you would need hundreds of thousands of dollars, as you'll see if you watch the video, the very first one, which is basically a whole house that closes in on itself. Yeah, talk about a fortress. But there were some that were actually very affordable. And right now, we can't really depend on the security systems that you may already have installed in your home, and you can't totally depend upon our local police forces because they're supposedly overworked. that kind of thing. Yeah, we won't get into that discussion. So anyways, I thought you might be interested in this. So here's the clip, my review of this clip for you. This week's YouTube video has everything to do with security in your home. And you know, in this day and age when we have a lot of porch pirates stealing our Amazon things, or break-ins, home invasions, stealing of our cars, stealing our information so they can get into our homes, all kinds of different scams out there and different things that where people are actually stealing physical objects from us. We might need to think more seriously about advanced home security beyond the, you know, Home Alert or whatever, or the Ring security system, that kind of thing. And this video shows you some of the latest inventions in home security. Everything from boxes that sit on your front doorstep to receive deliveries that thieves can't get into, or even whole houses that transform into a secure place. It's very quite fascinating to look at some of these devices. Now, some of them are probably prototypes, and many of them probably cost way beyond the average person's budget. But nevertheless, they do make you think twice about how secure your home may be. So if you want to see something that's interesting on both a tech level and a security level, then check out 12 home security inventions you must see. So you'll find the link to that clip in the show notes below. You're also going to find a link for Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. That's this Wednesday, as usual, starting at 9 a.m. as usual, Eastern Time as usual, same bat channel, same bat time. And all are welcome. You will also find another link there, okay? So don't bypass this link. If you are a quilter, I have put out for you on this link When Stars Collide. That's my first pattern that I made. All the people who came to the bash were able to download this. I am now opening it up to the general subscriber public. It's on my Google Drive. You just click the link and away you go. It's a PDF file. There were many people on the bash that were working on it during the bash, and not one person said they had a problem with the pattern, which makes me very happy. I spent a great deal of time editing it. I had Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches take a look at it as well. A second pair of eyes is always good when you're editing. And yeah, everything seemed to work out well for everybody. And for those of you that are working on it, please, when you get your quilt done, send me a picture of it, and I'll collect those pictures together, and sometime down the road on the Idiot Quilter episodes, I'll put together a trunk show of what people's interpretation of my pattern look like. And I am working on a second pattern. It will be some time before I get that done. The second pattern is a little bit more complicated. Not so much in to create it, but to write instructions for it. Pattern writing hard. It is. I really admire the people who write brilliant patterns. I also have had my fair share of bad patterns, and I hope I have learned from that. But anyways, that will be coming at some point down the road, and I'll probably say a little bit more about that, maybe give a little sneak peek tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter. Okay, so the link to the free pattern is in the show notes. There's also a link to all of my friends' YouTube channels, and Stephanie, of course, has gone over 20,000, which is wonderful, and she's planning a little celebration of this. It won't be like my Sew Day was. She's got something else on her channel planned, and that's going to be on March the 1st. And so tune in to Stephanie's channel to hear all about that. And if you're not a subscriber to Stephanie or to Russ of Quilt Meets World or Shannon of Slay Arts, please do. Subscribers help us. They do. And having said that, if you're new here, welcome. And if you've never subscribed to me, hey, hit the button. It helps because I'm working towards my next 10,000. Yeah, that was a shameless plug. Okay, so those links are there, and there are links to last week's videos that I published as well. So if you haven't seen the Idiot Quilter last week, or So Chatty, we did session 3 of our machine embroidery series. Walter and I did that. And this week coming on Friday, we'll be doing session 4. And session 4 is now we're going to start getting into talking about the nitty-gritty about different types of projects. And of course, Stephen and Walter Live, where we talked about, well, something I'm going to talk about in a moment or two here, but in a little different manner than I did on Stephen and Walter Live. And that has to all do with being a victim of ageism. We'll come to that in a little bit, in a very close. What am I trying to say? I'm tripping over my tongue. It's 3 feet long. What I'm trying to say is we're going to be coming to that whole situation that spurred the conversation about ageism on Stephen and Walter Live later in today's video. But right now, let's take a look at what's happening with the weather. If I can get this up on the screen, just bear with me for a second. It has been a very warm winter for us here in our area of Canada. And I know the weather has just been screwed up across North America and possibly across the world. Is it the climate change that we've been threatened with for so long? Or is this Mother Nature's usual course? I never know what to believe. The denier in me wants to say global warming, pish posh. It's just that we haven't got records that go back millions of years to trace the weather, and so maybe this is part of a natural cycle. But the other part of me, the panic part of me, goes, oh no, God, this is global warming and it's happening and this is scary and what are we going to do about it? Either way, we just have to learn to cope, I guess, do what we can. But in the meantime, here it is in where I live. It's -1 degree Celsius, so that's about 30 degrees Fahrenheit. So really this time of the year, that's unseasonably high for us. I mean, yes, we are moving towards the middle of February, so we would expect things to get a little warmer, but we don't have any snow where I live. Now, that's not true across Canada, but here it is. So is there any snow in the forecast? Well, not really. For the next week, we're talking temperatures. Well, the temperatures are bouncing all over the place. They're in the positive numbers at the first of the week. Later on the week, they're just below 0. And then next week, this time, they're in the positive again. So yeah, up and down, but not by drastic amounts. That's the thing. As I said, we do expect at this time of year for the temperatures to slowly start to rise up, but this is ridiculous. Now, it looks like on Thursday we have some precipitation at 55%, and I don't think that's snow, that's rain. They're talking rain. Well, let's see, the temperature is supposedly a high of 0. I think that's more likely to be snow, but they're only showing that at a 55% chance, so no. Meanwhile, in Brisbane, which we're heading to in another month and a half, 23 degrees C. That's very, very nice. That's a very comfortable temperature. It's warm, but not so warm that you'll bake. So that's very nice. And the same with Sydney. So yeah, can't do much about the weather, but that's the way things are, I guess. Okay. Had to take a slight break there. I had to blow my nose because it's kind of runny. I don't think I'm getting anything, although poor Walter, he has got a bad head cold right now, sinus infection. He's been suffering from that for the last couple of days. So I don't know if I'm going to catch it from him or not. Usually I don't. Knock wood, cross my fingers, don't say too much, but I have a pretty strong immune system, and I don't know if it's because of the years of being a school teacher and the kids brought every disease known to man into the classroom. They were always hacking up a hairball somewhere. Yeah, and I didn't usually get whatever they had. So yeah, so as soon as you say that, you're going to get something. But anyways, I digress, as I often do. So what's pissing me off this week? Well, an incident that happened to me at Wendy's. Now, we talked about this. I did a little short on it right after it happened. And then we talked about it a little more extensively on Stephen and Walter Live. And that was the situation I had at Wendy's, where I was treated like I was an old fart who didn't know what the heck I was doing. It all involved empty ketchup containers and the attitude of the help. And what I want to focus on and what's pissing me off is not that the ketchup was empty, not even that the service, well, yeah, it is the service, but not even the fact that this individual embarrassed me in front of other customers by treating me like a 150-year-old man who could barely, walk and came in drooling, kind of a thing. But what really pissed me off was attitude of treating me like I was not important enough to bother with. Now let's remember where I was. I was in a Wendy's. I hate to use the word restaurants for fast food places because I don't consider them restaurants. Okay. But anyways, for lack of another term, I was in a Wendy's restaurant, and the service that I received was like this person was doing me a favor. Wait, first problem here. Your job is to wait on people. You might be having a crappy day, but it's your job. Take your crappy day and stick it somewhere else. We all have crappy days, but when you're dealing with people you don't know and you're in the service industry, you are not to bring that to the table. I'm sorry. It's rough, I know. There were days when I went into my job and I was having a crappy day. I didn't take it out on my students. It wasn't their fault. So the same with these people in the service industry. Now, as an aside to this, and I mentioned this on Stephen and Walter Live, we noticed when we were in Georgia a very different attitude with the service people there compared to the service people in Canada. Canada is many things, and we are a great country, and the people in Canada, for the most part, are nice people. But I have noticed in the service industry in this country that our service people, it's like they're doing us a favor. In the States, they can't do too little for you or too much for you. They're there helping you all the way. They go beyond service. We were in a Walmart. I was looking for something. I approached a service person, and that person said, "Oh, it's right down the aisle number 4. I'll show you." This person was stocking a shelf at the time. They were busy. I didn't expect them to do that, but they took me right down and right to what I was looking for and helped me out with it, and then said with a smile, "Can I help you with anything else?" If that had been here in Canada, well, you might get a few people that would do the same thing. Not all service people here in Canada are horrible, but the vast majority of them would look at you, yeah, that's on aisle 4, and go carry right on with whatever they were doing. Now, I'm sorry to say that that's the way the service industry here in Canada works. And there is no reason for that, because we do have a minimum wage, which, okay, it's maybe not the best, but it's like $15 an hour and up. So it's not like these people who are in these businesses, what do they want? They want what someone would receive if they had a PhD or was a CEO of a company. That's not going to happen. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to work in something you're not happy at, but that's not my fault. Get an education, get a decent job. Okay, I did. Do you think it was easy to become a teacher? It was not. It was 5 years of postgraduate work, of post-high school graduate. Like, I have got 3 university degrees for it, and then a lot of additional training throughout the years. And, my job was tough too. And there were days when I went, do I really want to do this? But I think every job's like that. But so, you picked your slot in life. If you don't like it, what is it? Kelly Clarkson show, she always ends it with, have a good day, and if you're not, change it. There's something to be said about that. But anyways, back to the point of what I'm talking about. This attitude. And this attitude, I believe, was brought on because of my age compared to hers. So it's ageism. She was treating me like I was stupid because I was old. honey, I can probably dance circles around you when it comes to modern technology. And the other thing was, she was not a kid. I think she was a woman in her 40s. So, really, like, you expect teenagers, young people, early 20s, to give you attitude, okay? Because that's the nature of the beast. When I was 20 something, too, I probably gave attitude as well. In fact, I don't say probably, I know I did. In fact, I look back on those years with a lot of shame. And, to me, when I was 21, 22, 23, people who might have been 35 or above and that were old. And I did not give older people the respect they should have had. So I know what that's all about. And I am not proud of that at all. But why am I a victim to this? No one should be a victim to ageism, especially in this day and age. You know, uh, what is it? 80 is the new 65. Look at the number of people out there who are still vitally going with their lives. They're still out there doing things, being very active, keeping up on what they should keep up on, and things like that. There are many people like that. The days of sitting in a rocking chair and rocking yourself into the grave are not there anymore. They're over. Again, a lot of it is attitude, right? If you have a positive attitude and keep yourself active, you'll be fine. Another aside, this, I'm going to warn you right now, this little, what I'm pissed off at is going to be all over the place, okay? Because I told you before, my mind doesn't stop. So sorry if I'm a little disjointed here. But I got a phone call during Stephen and Walter Live, or a message that was from my second cousin, who said his father was trying to get a hold of me. And, the number wasn't going through. He had my old landline number. And so, yeah, I said, well, I'll call him. So I did. Now, this is a gentleman. He is my father's first cousin. So he's my first cousin once removed. And he is, if my father was alive today, my father would be 86. And this gentleman is 86 as well. So he's getting up there. Well, he phoned me, wanted to contact me to let me know that his older sister, he had two older sisters. One has passed away a few years ago, while the other one passed away this past week. So we were talking about arrangements and things like that. She had been sick, and she would have been 90 this year. So, that's up there. But I talked to him. I haven't talked to him in quite some time. And his wife, they were always in my life when I was a kid. My father's first cousin and his first cousin's wife, well, they were all friends. They all went to high school together. They were all in the same age group and the whole bit, and they hung out with each other for years and years and years. So they're family. They're basically family. So I hadn't talked to them in a while, and so we were catching up on things. And I've seen them on Facebook. Their kids, who are a little younger than me, post, pictures of them on Facebook with the grandkids and everything like that. And they are looking great at their age. And they're very, very active. They look after the grandchildren. They go do things because they all live basically in the same area. So they get to see each other all the time. And we talked about that. And I said to Diane, is her name, Denny and Diane. And I said, Diane, I saw pictures of you. You guys are looking great. And Diane says, well, we're keeping ourselves active. And she said, you have to keep moving. And she is absolutely right about that. So there's a couple of people that somebody younger than that would probably figure, I haven't got a clue about anything in the world. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. So back to this whole thing about ageism. We hear about the isms, right? We hear about, discrimination, racism, discrimination against religious beliefs, all this kind of stuff. There's all kinds of discrimination in the world. But one of the ones that gets, not discussed very often is this whole thing with ageism. And I am finding that that is happening more and more. And I am not completely innocent. When we're in the car and somebody does something on the road that, could have caused a possible minor accident or whatever in that, and we see that it's an older person driving, well, both Walter and I look at each other and go, old fart. Figures it's an old fart. Okay. I'm sure from their point of view, in their car, they're looking at us and going, you old farts. So, yeah, I'm being a bit of a hypocrite here, aren't I? Because I've done ageism myself as well. But when you're a victim of it, it makes you think twice. Now, I'm sure a lot of you understand what I'm talking about because, let's face it, according to my demographics for my channel, the average age on here is about 62. So, and up. So, yeah, I'm sure everybody understands what's happening. So I'm preaching to the choir, but I just want to say this. Young people, and young people means anybody from the age of 0 to like 50. Think about it. The older generation, the elderly people, the senior citizens of our world came before you and paved the way. And don't be blaming us for climate change and stuff like that either. Yeah, we made some mistakes, and yeah, you've got to kind of clean it up. But then we had to clean up what the generation did before us too. That's just an ongoing thing that happens throughout the ages. Okay, one generation blames the older generation, or the younger generation blames the older generation for the problems in the world. Someday you're going to be that older generation, you youngsters out there. Keep that in the back of your mind the next time you treat somebody in a restaurant or in the service industry like they're some old fart. Because someday, if you're lucky, you're going to become an old fart too. Okay, I know that went everywhere. Sorry about that, but so let's just put it down to stream of consciousness. Or I'm just an old fart rambling on. Yeah, that's what Walter would say. Okay, let's move on to some new products. Well, I did buy some fabric and it was fantastic. And the place I bought it from was fantastic. And if you want to know more about that, tune into the Idiot Quilter, IQ as I call it, tomorrow. But I did buy another little toy. Let's talk about technology, shall we? I saw this on something, I don't know where I saw it, but it's a little desktop vacuum and it is great. And it cost under 20 bucks on Amazon. I wasn't expecting a lot from it, but I got more than I bargained for. It works really, really well. Now, I'm not going to show it to you here. I'm going to show it to you tomorrow and demo it on the Idiot Quilter as well. But I was so impressed with it, and so was Walter, that Walter bought one too. So it's good. If Walter decides that this is something he's going to buy after I've bought it, then it means it's got the Walter seal of approval. Yes. So as I said, we'll show that to you tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter episode. Okay, let's talk about the grow lights, shall we? I know this gets to be a broken record. I am not happy with what's been going on with the grow lights. So yeah, but we have a bug problem, as you know. Okay, this is grow light number 1. Okay, new lettuce crop coming up, good. But you can see those yellow things just covered in those little bugs. I have to replace that. It's been an ongoing battle with these little gnats or whatever they are. So Walter has been cleaning out things because we've come to the conclusion that the only way we're going to get rid of these little gnats is that we've got to start fresh and clean everything out and sterilize. He left this pot in here because this is a new crop of lettuce coming up as well. And of course, in the jungle, okay, we're going to harvest what we can just before we go to Australia, and then we're going to clean all of this crap out of here. Well, it's not crap. These tomatoes, we've got a few little green ones coming on. I don't know if they're ever going to get to the point where they'll be edible. I made a mistake buying these particular seeds because, in my little, Ricky Lucy mind, I'm thinking it said that these were good in hanging pots. Thinking, well, you could put them in hanging pots or you can put them in regular pots. No, they should go in hanging pots because they droop. They can't support themselves. They're meant to droop. And this environment they're in right now is not good for drooping. So yes, there are some flowers on here. Flowers mean tomatoes. There's a few tomatoes in here as well, but and these are a type of cherry tomato or grape tomato, so they're not going to get huge. I knew that. I didn't want huge ones. But yeah, but the little gnats seem to love those as well. The onions have taken over. They're killer onions. I think what we're going to do with these is just before we go to Australia, when we're cleaning this all up, we'll uproot these onions. We've been using them, but whatever's left, we'll uproot, probably dice them up and freeze them. And so they'll be gone. Now, these are green peppers. I don't know if Walter wants to wipe these out or keep them there. They take a long time, and these are not growing very fast, but they take about 3 months before you get, green peppers really on them. So I don't know what he'll want to do with that, but we have to clean this all out and start fresh. And when we start fresh, I think we're going to limit ourselves to possibly onions, green peppers, basil. Oh, the gnats love the basil. That's gone now. And I don't know, we've got to look at maybe something to do with the soil, because we have read that these gnats come in on the soil. But Walter thinks that's not where these particular ones came from. He blames on the fact that we brought some of our plants indoors at the end of the season and put them under the lights, and those bugs came in with them, and they just, multiply like crazy. Well, you can see these little dark spots on these sticky pads are all little gnats. And you look around the house, and every now and then one flies by, and it scares me when they do that. I said to Walter, was that a gnat? And the reason I do it, and actually it's kind of goes with ageism in that, my father, when he started to develop dementia, started to see bugs that weren't there. And it scares me because, it's funny to say this, but I'm hoping when I see one of those little bugs go by real quickly, it really is there. I'm not seeing things. Okay. Anyways, I digress. So yeah, we've got to basically start over with the grow lights because of this infestation. Yeah. Okay. So that's the grow lights. So let's talk about the 3D corner. Well, I have nothing to show you, but next week I will. As we speak today, coming from Amazon, is my new 3D printer. And you're going to go, what are you setting up? A sweatshop? Yep. Find me some cheap slave labor to look after it. No, yes, for those of you that may be new to my channel, I'd love to do 3D printing. I'm constantly doing 3D printing as we speak right now. 1 out of 3 of my printers is working on things. The other 2 finished up last night, and I'm just going to leave them until the new one arrives and I get it set up. The new one is still part of the same manufacturing group called Cruelty, but it is one of their newer ones. It is supposed to be a little faster machine. It's supposed to actually do automatic bed leveling, which those of you that don't know anything about 3D printing, that means nothing to you, but bed leveling is the bane of all 3D printers for those of us that do 3D printing, because they're a bitch to get right. And if your bed isn't level, you're going to have problems. Now, I've got it down pretty pat that I can do it, but that's because I've had 3D printers for about 4 years now, I think. Anyways, I'm excited about getting this new one. I had been thinking about getting a new one for quite some time, but I was holding off. This one was a reasonable price, about $400, a little more than that, Canadian. And that's, the going price for this level of 3D printer. I mean, you can spend, the sky's the limit on a 3D printer. I'm not going to spend that. But anyways, it's supposed to arrive today. Some assembly required. I'm not too worried about that. I've put them together before, and this one may be slightly different because of slightly different technology it uses. So next week, I'm hoping I'll be able to show you a little video of the new printer. I do have one other problem though. This room where my 3D printers, all my sewing stuff, everything is in this room, I have discovered is all on one bloody circuit. 3D printers draw about 24 watts of power. I have all of my 3D printers plugged into their own little UPSs. That's not a delivery service. That's an uninterrupted power supply, something like that. You know, basically it's a giant battery that if the power goes out, the printer keeps going for a while, which is important with 3D printers because nothing like having the power go out at the tail end of a print and that's it, game over. So they do have a resume feature, which works some of the time it doesn't. So anyways, I have that as well. That's coming as well. I ordered another one of those. But all of those things in this room are drawing a lot of electricity on one circuit breaker. So I have to be careful when I turn on my iron, because you know irons, of course, draw a lot of wattage. If I've got all 3 printers at the moment on, it will trip the breaker. Okay. So I've tried different workarounds with that. And there are several outlets in this room, and all of them are full, but they're all on the same circuit. So I'm anticipating there's going to be a problem with the new printer. That's just going to put the whole system over the edge. So I'm trying to work out an alternative, short of having my brother-in-law come out and see if he can put in a new breaker in our box. I think there's room for a new breaker and wire me a new outlet, which could be done. Walter can maybe do it. I don't know. But I really don't want to go that route. That would be ideal, really. That would be the route to go for this. But I'm looking at possible other alternatives, and after I'm finished this video today, I'm going to do some experimentation and see what happens. So yeah, but I'm excited about getting the new printer, and yeah, hopefully it does everything that the reviews I've seen say it does, and yeah, so away we go. Okay, so that takes me to Blasts from the Past trips. This is the second part of Narutpa in Australia, the trip we took in 2018, and well, here it is.
Remember what I was saying before, as soon as you pick up the camera, they will come. And there was none of them here when we first got into town, we were wandering around, and suddenly they're all here. Okay, so what's a German town without a Brewhausen? You have to have a Brewhaus. Which, if you don't know what that means beer garden. And here's some unique artwork. They're called shaggy ducks. And there are booted ducks over here. See little boots? Booted ducks. So we're still in Handorf, and this is, Walter thought we should take a picture of this church, St. Paul's Lutheran Church. But what he was more interested in was stand there, stand over there. He thought it'd be really funny. He took my picture with this sign. And you see what the sign says? It's a crossword for the age.
No.
Yeah. So, Walter, age it. He thought it'd be funny to take a picture of me standing in front of that.
Okay, so now we're on the road from Handorf, and we're going up to, and I gotta find it here on the map. Of course, once I find it, I don't know how to say it. It's up here somewhere.
Okay, where do I go?
What? Follow this. Oh,
Straight ahead, I think.
or can you go straight ahead?
Yeah, I think so.
This is what we're talking about right here. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, I guess we're on the right track. Okay, oops. I was showing you the dash. Okay, didn't need to do that. Okay, back to the map. I'm looking for this place. And it's...
We should have found it on the map.
No, I found it already. It's here. But I'm looking through the viewfinder here on the back, and it's trying to keep it steady. Okay. Finger there. Where's my finger? Alright, there we are. This is where we're headed to. So, we're going from way down here. Handorf. See Handorf? Yeah. So we're following this up here, and we're going to Narutpa. Again, any of the Aussies out there that watch this video, you will probably need to correct me on how you say this place.
Isn't it?
Naruta? Naruta? I don't know. But anyways, that's where we're headed for, and it's not going to take us long to get there because right now it's 11:47, and according to the GPS, at 12:45 we'll be there. So then we'll have to figure out what we're going to do in the meantime. But anyways, this is the scenic drive, so they call it. They call it the Onka. I don't think you can see that. Can you see that? There. It's called the, yeah, another word I can't say. Okay, I would not do well in this country in the pronunciation of their words, but anyways, that's where we're off to. There's a lot of little towns along the way here, which makes it a little bit more interesting drive than that one we did yesterday. So yeah. So it just gives you an idea of what some of these little towns we're driving through kind of look like. And that was a little town. I think that was Mount Pleasant. Another shot of some of the scenery. We're now in the Barossa Valley.
I haven't seen any grapevines yet.
No, we haven't seen grapevines yet, so maybe we're not in the right part of the Barossa Valley for that. Although I did see a couple signs for wine places, I thought. Small ones, but I didn't see any vines, so don't know. But I'm sure we will. But it just gives you an idea of what it looks like. What's this? Is this Murray Street?
This is the one.
Arriving at 22
That's it
Murray
right there.
Street,
Yeah.
on the right.
Okay, so this is where we're going to be staying the next 2 nights. The Vine Inn.
Okay, so how do I get over
Good question. You going that way? I don't know.
there?
30 meters, it says, maybe. I don't know. Figured it.
Okay, so this is our room in for the next 2 nights. The place is called, what's it called? The
Vine Inn.
Vineland or Vine Inn. The Vine Inn. Lots of beds. Little place to sit. Now they have this patio door that's supposed to be a little like patio thing, but the door only opens 6 inches. It's screw nailed up at the top, and it says it only opens that for security reasons. Well, I think we know why there's security reasons, because you see this couple that are standing over here. When we walked into this hotel to register, it was quite loud and noisy in the attached restaurant-y kind of bar. It has pool tables and that. And I saw 3 chicks walking into a bathroom in there. Well, actually falling into a bathroom with drinks in their hands. You have to remember, this is only 1:20 in the afternoon. And on Thursday. And it sounds like a party's going on in this restaurant. They seem to be in the average age between late 20s up to maybe early 40s, what I could see. But this couple's been standing out here since we got in, and he's basically trying to pick her up. Little afternoon delight, I think. So, and you don't know if he's getting too very far with her or not. But there's also other things that, this is not a sleepy little town. It looks like a party town, because on the door back here, there's some regulations. Says, no smoking, party damages policy. To protect the well-being and amenity of all house guests, the Vine Inn Barossa enforces a strict no accommodation room, party and or damages policy. So it would seem to me, between the fact that they have this sign on the door, this is the bathroom, like it has a separate cubicle for the toilet, and then in here they have a shower and the sink and the whole bit, which is all very nice, very clean, very modern. But anyways, and because that door doesn't open any further than it does, it sounds to me like we've gotten into Party Central here. Don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. We may hear more later in the day or the night about all of this. So anyways, yeah, it's a little bit of a party town. Oh, must be all those wineries. Okay, we're here and we're eating in the very loud and party-ish restaurant, that bar that's attached to the hotel. It looks very nice, but I'm finding the atmosphere here totally different from where else we've been so far in Australia. The people here seem just a little colder, not as friendly, and definitely party animals. Like, they almost seem like the stereotype of what we think of Aussies at home here. So I'm glad that I've seen other parts of Australia. Maybe it's just this place, I don't know. It just seems to me like, quite frankly, a bunch of drunks at 1:30 in the afternoon on a Thursday. So I don't get it. Plus, this isn't no smoking in this area, but over in the other area, they're smoking, but they don't seem to be being regulated by the signs or anything. And of course, it's blowing over the top of us. I don't know. I could be wrong about this first impression. Okay, so sorry. I don't mean to offend any of my Aussie viewers out there, because up until this point, we have found them nothing but lovely through it all. And maybe it's just this place. It's just the atmosphere. I don't know. I hope that's all it is.
Okay, so just to continue from what I said last time, we're looking around here, and this is definitely a party place. You can hear it. You probably can't hear me. Again, it's 2:18 in the afternoon. These people on a Thursday, they party hardy early. Don't know if this is what they usually do. Well, I think they're watching the Olympics. Maybe they took time off because Australia's in the Olympics today or something. I don't know. Because they have it on a big screen over there, but it's certainly a hopping place. Okay, so we're just sitting here and we're talking about the SIM card that we bought for Walter's phone, so we would have access on our cell phones to, or on his cell phone, to the internet and to, make calls. So what? So it was $45. It's a Woolies card.
Yeah, and I got it for 30 days, right? And it included, well, actually, it came with 10 gigs of data, but because I activated it before a date in March or whatever, it gave me an extra 5 gigs of data. So I got 15 gigs of data for 30 days. I get I get $100 of special services for 30 days. I get unlimited phone calls in Australia, giving and receiving and making them, and I get unlimited text messages in Australia, and I can supposedly make phone calls to Canada for free.
So really, it's a real, like, that's pretty good with that, because our plan,
I can pay $45 on my plan at home and only get 500 megabytes of data for 30 days, unlimited phone calls in the locality, but I'd still get charged for long distance calls in Canada. And that's about it. That's all I get for $45.
So basically, we could take that card and set it up as a hotspot as well, so my phone could actually use that data plan as a hotspot. Not that we have any need to do that, but actually I am a little bit more impressed this time on this trip to Australia with the internet connections that we have had. Now, the one we had last night was no good for uploading to YouTube, and that's why people, I'll try on this one that we have in this hotel. Not sure if it's going to work.
I don't think
so. It may be a couple of days yet before I'm able to upload my latest videos. But so it'll be, you're going to get a whole bunch of these all at once, including this one we're making right now. But we'll see what happens. And anyways, not a bad deal.
So that takes me to events in the past week. Of course, it was the 10,000 subscriber bash that we had on Saturday. That was great. Everybody, I think, had a really great time. We had prizes. That was fun. It was a great day. There were a few people who were no-shows and never contacted me to let me know that something had changed in their life and they couldn't make it. I did have a couple of people who did, and I appreciate that, but there are 5 that are on my blacklist, and that's all I'm going to say about it because I talked about it yesterday in Stephen and Walter Live. Some of you, when you hear that discussion, may think I'm a cruel and horrible bugger. You're probably right. But as I explained in Stephen and Walter Live, you got to have accountability, you have to have responsibility, and you have to take into consideration how your actions might affect other people. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Just, they're not welcome at any of my future events. Unless for some reason they decide to send me an email and really explain it was something way out of their control. Okay, I'm not going to say any more about that. So, it was great. Everybody had a good time. I got some stuff done. It was fun. I was exhausted by the end of it. I looked like my technical setup for that in here, same as with my retreats, look like I'm in mission control in Houston. But you know, I enjoy being surrounded by technology, as you well know. So it was fun. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, we have a pop-up sew day coming on Saturday the 24th. So that's in less than 2 weeks' time. There will be a link posted in the show notes for everything I produce on YouTube next week. And those of you that are on my mailing list, you will get the link to your email box as well, beginning of next week, probably around next Monday for that. If you are new here to the channel, you've never been to one of my pop-up sew days, all are welcome. It's absolutely free. It is not on YouTube. It is a private Zoom link. We do not record it, and we just have a really great time. You do not have to reserve a space for it, not like for the bash or for my retreats. You just come whenever you want to come. Usually starts at 8 a.m. Well, not usually. We'll start at 8 a.m. Eastern time, but you don't have to be there at the beginning of that time. You know, sorry for those of you that have been with me for quite a while and are very familiar with pop-up sew days. I sound like a broken record about it, but this is for the benefit of the new people because I do have new people. So yeah, as I said, all are welcome, and it's open to any creative person. If you're a painter, if you're a paper crafter, scrapbooker, whatever, you don't have to be a sewer, you don't have to be a quilter. The majority of people that are on there are, but it's open to everyone. There was one person that we had on the bash day. She is not a quilter. She is a crafter. Makes lovely angels and things and stuff like that. And I interviewed her once, so you can go back on some of my interview videos and you'll find her. Lisa Marie Esposito is her name, so you can check her out. Yeah, she was there too. So that's what I said. All are welcome. So pop-up sew day, Saturday, February 24th. Links coming out next week. Now this week we have a special event called the Social Review. If you remember, we did one last month. We do one of these the first Wednesday of every month. We just started last month. And who's we? Well, it's Stephanie from Stephanie Stitches, Russ from Quilt Meets World, Shannon from Slay Arts, and Walter and myself. And the five of us get together and basically just chat about whatever. It is a YouTube live, so if you want to join us, there is a link for it in the show notes below. But you can ask questions, make comments in the chat bar that's with the YouTube live. And this month we have decided we're going to show a couple of quilts that mean something to us that we have created, and talk about those. And there'll be other things we'll get talking about too as well, because when the five of us together, well, we could probably talk for days. Usually we just run this for about an hour. So yeah, but that's this Wednesday. Yes, it is Valentine's Day, but hey, let's face it. Valentine's Day is for the young, I think. I don't know. Some of you might celebrate it. I can sum it up in 2 words. Bah, or blah, not bah, blah. Bah, humbug. Those are my 2 words for Valentine's Day. Yeah, I know. I'm a real romantic. Not. Okay, so yeah, that's on Wednesday, and it's on Stephanie's channel. We're rotating the channels each month. So it was on, our first one was on my channel last month. This month it's on Stephanie's, and next month it'll probably be on Russ's channel. But anyways, I hope you can tune in for it. It'll be a lot of fun. The link is in the show notes. Okay, so I think that's about it for me for today. I hope you have a great week. And do be sure to tune into the Idiot Quilter tomorrow, because I've got lots of things to show you, lots of things to tell you about there as well. And at the end of the week on Friday, we have So Chatty, where we're going to do session 4 of our series, Walter's and my series, on machine embroidery. So busy, busy week. So have a good one. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.